In the beginning, when the heavens were young and the earth was still being shaped, the angels walked among the stars, serving the will of the Most High. Among them was Azazel, a watcher of great renown. He was a being of immense beauty and wisdom, his wings shimmering like molten gold, his voice a melody that could soothe even the most troubled soul. Azazel was tasked with observing the works of creation, ensuring that the balance of the cosmos remained intact. Azazel was not like the other watchers. While his brethren were content to observe the works of creation from afar, fulfilling their duties with unwavering loyalty, Azazel's heart was a tempest of questions and desires. He was a being of immense intellect, his mind constantly probing the boundaries of his existence. The heavens, though glorious, felt like a gilded cage to him. He yearned for something more, something beyond the eternal chorus of praise and the ceaseless cycle of obedience. From his perch in the celestial realms, Azazel would often gaze down upon the earth, his eyes piercing the veil between heaven and the mortal world. He watched as the first humans, Adam and Eve, wandered the wilderness, their lives marked by toil and hardship. They were fragile creatures, their bodies prone to injury, their minds clouded by ignorance. Yet, there was something about them that captivated Azazel. They were not like the angels, perfect and unchanging. They were flawed, yes, but within their flaws lay a spark of potential, a capacity for growth, for transformation. Azazel's curiosity grew into an obsession. He began to spend more and more of his time observing the humans, studying their ways, and pondering their fate. He saw how they struggled to build shelters, to grow food, to protect themselves from the beasts of the earth. He saw how they loved and fought, how they laughed and wept. And he wondered, why has the Most High made them so weak? Why must they suffer so? These questions gnawed at Azazel's soul, filling him with a restless energy that he could not suppress. He began to question the divine order, the wisdom of the Creator. If the Most High truly loves them, he thought, why does he not grant them the knowledge they need to thrive? Why does he leave them in darkness? One day, as Azazel watched a group of humans huddling together for warmth during a bitter storm, he felt a surge of emotion unlike anything he had ever experienced. It was pity, but it was also something deeper, a sense of kinship, of connection. In their struggles, he saw a reflection of his own discontent. They, too, were bound by limitations, just as he was bound by his role as a watcher. What if they could be more? Azazel whispered to himself, his voice trembling with a mixture of hope and defiance. What if they could rise above their limitations and become like us? What if I could give them the tools to shape their own destiny? The thought was intoxicating, but it was also dangerous. Azazel knew the consequences of defying the will of the Most High. The other watchers had spoken of the punishment that awaited those who strayed from the duties. Yet, the more he thought about it, the more he convinced himself that he was not acting out of rebellion, but out of compassion. He was not seeking to overthrow the divine order, he was seeking to elevate it. Surely, Azazel reasoned, the Most High would not begrudge me for helping his creations. Surely, he would see that my intentions are pure. But deep down, Azazel knew that he was deceiving himself. His desire to help humanity was intertwined with a darker impulse, a longing to break free from the constraints of his existence, to prove that he was more than just a servant of the divine. He wanted to be a creator, a teacher, a god in his own right. One fateful night, as the stars burned brightly in the heavens, Azazel made his decision. He would descend to the earth and share the secrets of heaven with humanity. He would give them the knowledge they needed to rise above their limitations, to become like the angels. And if the Most High saw fit to punish him for it, so be it. He would bear the consequences with pride. Azazel gathered his fellow watchers, angels who shared his discontent. Among them were Shemihaza, the fierce warrior, Barakal, the master of lightning, and Kokabeel, the keeper of the stars. Together, they descended to Mount Hermon, a place of great power, and made a pact. They would teach humanity the secrets of heaven, no matter the cost. "Brothers," Azazel said, his voice filled with conviction, "we have been given a great gift, the gift of knowledge, of power. But what good is it if we keep it to ourselves? Let us share it with the children of men. Let us help them rise above their limitations and become like us. Together, we can shape a new world, a world where angels and humans walk side by side as equals." The other watchers were hesitant at first, but Azazel's passion was infectious. One by one, they agreed to join him, their hearts filled with a mixture of excitement and fear. And so, the pact was made, and the fate of humanity was forever changed. Azazel stood at the edge of a human settlement, his celestial form hidden from mortal eyes. The village was small, a cluster of crude huts surrounded by fields of barley and wheat. The people here were simple folk, their lives governed by the rhythms of nature. They hunted with stone-tipped spears, tilled the earth with wooden tools, and lived in harmony with the land. To Azazel, their existence seemed almost idyllic, but also painfully limited. He watched as a group of men returned from a hunt, their faces streaked with dirt and sweat. They carried the carcass of a deer, its lifeless body slung between them. The women of the village gathered around, their hands deftly skinning the animal and preparing it for the fire. Children played nearby, their laughter ringing through the air. It was a scene of peace, but to Azazel, it was also a scene of stagnation. They could be so much more, he murmured to himself. If only they had the tools to shape their world. With a resolve born of both compassion and pride, Azazel shed his invisibility and stepped into the village. The humans froze, their eyes wide with awe and fear. They had never seen a being like him before, his golden wings shimmering in the sunlight, his eyes burning with an otherworldly intensity. Some fell to their knees, while others backed away, trembling. "Do not be afraid," Azazel said, his voice a soothing melody that calmed their fears. "I have come to help you. I have come to show you the secrets of the earth, the gifts that lie hidden beneath your feet." He led him to a nearby hillside, where veins of copper and iron ran deep within the rock. With a wave of his hand, he caused the earth to split open, revealing the gleaming metals within. The humans gasped, their eyes filled with wonder. "These are the bones of the earth," Azazel explained. "With them, you can create tools that will make your lives easier, weapons that will protect you from your enemies." He showed them how to mine the ore, how to smelt it in great fires, and how to shape it into blades and armor. Under his guidance, they forged their first swords, crude at first, but deadly nonetheless. They crafted shields to protect themselves and armor to withstand the blows of their foes. Azazel watched with pride as the humans marveled at their newfound power. But it was not long before the seeds of corruption took root. The once peaceful villages began to quarrel over the distribution of the new tools. A man who had crafted the finest sword claimed it as his own, refusing to share it with his neighbors. Another, emboldened by his newfound strength, threatened those who opposed him. The children, who had once played together in harmony, now fought over scraps of metal, their laughter replaced with cries of anger. Azazel saw the change in him, but he told himself it was a necessary evil. They must learn to wield this power responsibly, he thought. In time, they will understand its true purpose, but the corruption spread faster than he had anticipated. The villagers began to raid neighboring settlements, using their weapons to steal food and resources. The once fertile fields lay fallow, as the men spent their days training for battle instead of tending to the crops. The women, once the heart of the community, grew fearful and withdrawn, their voices silenced by the rising tide of violence. One night, as Azazel watched from a distance, he saw a group of men ambush a rival village. They moved with a precision that was almost inhuman, their swords glinting in the moonlight. The attack was swift and brutal. By dawn, the rival village was in ruins, its people slaughtered or enslaved. Azazel's heart sank as he realized the full extent of what he had done. He had given them the tools to protect themselves, but he had also given them the means to destroy one another. The humans, once united by their shared struggles, were now divided by their greed and ambition. "What have I done?" Azazel whispered, his voice filled with anguish. "I sought to elevate them, but I have only brought them ruin." But it was too late to turn back. The knowledge he had given him could not be unlearned. The humans, once innocent and pure, had been forever changed. And Azazel, the once noble watcher, bore the weight of their corruption on his shoulders. Azazel's heart was heavy with the consequences of his first act. The humans, once simple and harmonious, had become violent and divided. Yet, instead of retreating to the heavens and accepting his failure, Azazel doubled down on his mission. He convinced himself that the chaos he had unleashed was merely a temporary phase, a necessary step in humanity's evolution. They must learn to wield power, he told himself. And I must guide them further. This time, Azazel turned his attention to the women. He had observed how they were often marginalized in the new order of violence and domination. The men, armed with swords and shields, had taken control of the villages, leaving the women to tend to the hearths and children. Azazel saw in him a different kind of potential, a potential for influence, for subtlety, for beauty that could shape the world in ways brute force could not. One evening, as the sun dipped below the horizon and the stars began to twinkle in the sky, Azazel appeared to a group of women gathered by a river. They were washing clothes and grinding grain, their hands rough from labor, their faces devoid of the adornments that would later define their kind. Azazel's presence was less intimidating this time. He appeared not as a towering celestial being but as a radiant figure of wisdom and grace. "Sisters," he said, his voice soft and inviting, "you carry the weight of the world on your shoulders, yet your strength goes unrecognized. Let me show you the secrets of your own power, the power to enchant, to inspire, to shape the hearts of men." The women, curious and eager, gathered around him. Azazel began by teaching them the art of adornment. He showed them how to extract pigments from plants and minerals, how to paint their faces in ways that accentuated their beauty. He revealed the secrets of crafting jewelry, weaving gold and silver into intricate designs that shimmered in the light. The women marveled at their reflections in the water, their once plain features transformed into visions of allure. But Azazel did not stop at physical beauty. He taught them the art of enchantment, how to use herbs and potions to captivate the minds of men, how to weave spells of fascination and desire. He showed them how to use their voices and gestures to command attention, to turn the hearts of even the most hardened warriors. The women, once silent and submissive, began to wield a new kind of power, one that was subtle yet profound. Azazel also revealed to them the mysteries of the heavens. He taught them the secrets of astrology, how to read the stars and divine the future. He showed him the art of divination, how to interpret the flight of birds and the patterns of smoke. The heavens hold the keys to destiny, he told them. With this knowledge, you can shape your own fate. First, the women used these gifts to bring harmony to their communities. They mediated disputes, soothed tempers, and guided their people with wisdom and grace. But as with the men and their weapons, corruption soon took hold. The art of enchantment became a tool for manipulation, the pursuit of beauty a source of vanity and rivalry. Women began to compete for the attention of men, using their newfound skills to sow discord and jealousy. The once strong bonds of sisterhood were replaced with mistrust and envy. The teachings of astrology and divination, meant to empower, instead led the people astray. They began to rely on omens and portents rather than their own judgment, abandoning reason for superstition. False prophets arose, claiming to speak for the heavens, and the people followed them blindly. The earth, once a paradise guided by the rhythms of nature, became a place of chaos and confusion. Azazel watched as his teachings spiraled out of control. The women, whom he had sought to empower, became pawns in a game of manipulation and deceit. The men, already corrupted by violence, were further ensnared by the allure of beauty and the promises of divination. The harmony of the human world was shattered, replaced by a cacophony of greed, lust, and fear. One night, as Azazel stood on a hill overlooking a village consumed by strife, he felt a profound sense of despair. The people he had sought to elevate were now lost in a labyrinth of their own making. The paradise he had envisioned had become a nightmare. "Is this what I wanted?" Azazel whispered to the stars. "Is this the world I sought to create?" But the stars offered no answer. They burned cold and distant, indifferent to his anguish. Azazel realized, too late, that he had overstepped his bounds. He had sought to bridge the gap between heaven and earth, but in doing so, he had unleashed a darkness that neither he nor the humans could control. The earth, once a reflection of divine harmony, had become a place of chaos and corruption. And Azazel, the once noble watcher, bore the weight of its fall. The other watchers followed Azazel's lead. Shemihaza taught the humans the art of war, turning brother against brother. Barakal showed them how to harness the power of lightning, creating weapons that could level cities. Kokabeel revealed the secrets of the stars, leading them to worship the heavens instead of the Creator. The Most High looked upon the earth and saw the devastation wrought by Azazel and his followers. His heart was filled with sorrow and anger. He summoned the archangels, Michael, Gabriel, Raphael, and Uriel, and commanded them to bring the watchers to justice. Michael, the fiercest of the archangels, descended to Mount Hermon with a host of heavenly warriors. He confronted Azazel, his sword blazing with divine fire. "You have defied the will of the Most High," Michael declared. "You have corrupted the children of men and brought ruin to the earth. For this, you shall be punished." Azazel stood defiant, his golden wings spread wide. "I sought only to elevate them," he replied. "I gave them knowledge, power, and freedom. Is that not what the Creator desired?" "You gave them chaos," Michael said. "And for that, you shall be bound." A great battle ensued, the skies darkening with the clash of celestial forces. But Azazel and his followers were no match for the archangels. One by one, the watchers were captured and bound in chains. Azazel, the ringleader, was cast into a deep abyss, a place of eternal darkness. His wings were torn from his body, his beauty replaced with a visage of horror. The archangel Raphael sealed the abyss with a great stone, ensuring that Azazel would never again walk among men. But even in his imprisonment, Azazel's influence lingered. The earth remained tainted by his teachings, and the descendants of Adam and Eve continued to war and sin. The Most High, in his mercy, sent the great flood to cleanse the earth, but the memory of Azazel's corruption endured. Centuries passed, and Azazel's name became a byword for evil. He was remembered as the fallen angel who had brought destruction to the world, the one who had dared to defy the will of the Creator. Yet, in the depths of his prison, Azazel's spirit remained unbroken. He whispered to the hearts of men, tempting them with promises of power and knowledge. And though he was bound, his legacy lived on. In the end, Azazel's story serves as a cautionary tale, a reminder of the dangers of pride and the consequences of defying the divine order. But it is also a story of ambition, of a being who sought to bridge the gap between heaven and earth, only to bring about his own downfall. And so, Azazel remains in the abyss, his voice echoing through the ages, a testament to the eternal struggle between light and darkness, between the will of the Creator and the desires of the created.